So we're back with you guys on our lineup builder. We didn't do the review show this week. We just couldn't fit it in with our time. But in transparency purposes, we did lose. So we're 1-2 on the season in terms of winning and losing in terms of profit margins. But I thought we did a lot of things right. Like I thought fading Sailors was a smart move. He ended up getting like 15 or 16 points. And I felt like he needed more to get at the range. Interestingly enough, to transition back to this week, is they raised his price by like $700.
It was
so
500.
Was it 500? Yeah.
So like 1,500 more than the next running back, and
yeah,
18 way more, like 2,500 more than the next running back, and like 1,800 more than the next wide receiver in the flex. Like, oof.
And that gap would have been a lot more noticeable, I feel like. But speaking of news and notes from the previous week, we lost Ty Scott. He went to the IR. He was actually leading the league in receiving yards. He was ahead of Adams because he was just super consistent. So he's going to the IR. He'll at least miss 5 weeks. They're hoping maybe a late playoff run for him if that's in their cards potentially. We also saw another coach retire again. Ken Wisenhunt left the Memphis Showboats this week permanently, I guess this time, to spend more time with family. So you can't hate it, but we've seen a lot of coaching changes. And I think at this point, it's just one of the things that, like, as a DFS player, you got to be like, well, these are the news and notes, and you got to be ready to adjust. And so I do think for a grinder like us who do it on a weekly basis, paying attention to some of these things could be valuable. Just as an aside, if it does matter to you, because I know it matters to some, the offensive coordinator taking over is not the same one that took over, or the play caller, rather, is not the same play caller from week one. And week one, it was the wide receivers coach, but now permanently this season, they gave the play calling duties to the quarterbacks coach. So I don't know what that will mean. Turner's obviously going to be the interim head coach again for that team. I just think Adams and Lassiter are like the only guys that you would really consider. They're the guys getting the consistent work, in the receiving room. Any other news and notes that you saw as well?
No, that sums up the big notes that I was seeing. The Scott injury reserve. Like, we could speculate on exactly what that means. I remember seeing last year when a team thinks they're going to be solid, they did that to a couple of guys who then came back ready for a playoff run. But that allowed them space to show off and test out other guys on their team.
That's correct. I think Persons did that last year. Wade Phillips is taking a leave of absence as well for health reasons.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was waiting on that to happen for so long. Week one, he wasn't with the team. He was in the, what press box, whatever you want to call it. Week two, he was down on the field. Week three, he was in the press box again, and they said he was like, or no, he went to the locker room because he was sick. Like, yeah. So it's just like, I don't think he's just in good enough shape to be a football coach anymore, honestly.
Yeah, they were trying to find a way to, coordinate it with his health. And I just think at this point, they were like, you know what, you need to get rest and relaxation, and maybe you can come back at some point. But, on the player acquisition side, really quickly, I also saw right before we started the show, Taco Charlton signed with the Renegades as well. Last year, he played with the Stallions. Really athletic guy, stuck around in the NFL based on potential more than, but he was a journeyman. He can obviously get to the quarterback, especially in college. He showed that ability. So anytime you add an athletic guy like that, I think it's of note in a league like this.
He did have an impact last year for Birmingham as well. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
He's going to be a difference maker on that defense. Maybe not this week, maybe not next week, but by the end of the season, he'll be a difference maker on the field probably.
Bryce Perkins, by the way, for quarterback, just want to mention, he looked like a difference maker last week. He was really dominant.
And the thing with Bryce Perkins is now Danny Etling's officially out. Like, he will not be playing. That's huge. Because he was the big guy who was like, well, he is going to steal snaps. It might not be much, but week one he had 6 passing attempts. I'm not sure how many handoffs he had.
Yeah. And they did sign Bowman from Oklahoma State, but he's weirdly like getting ready for the NFL or could potentially be working out for an NFL job. So he's trying to manage like the NFL prospects with playing in the UFL. So that's a bit strange. But one thing we know is Perkins should be the number one guy this week. Kellen Mond in the Brahmas played a lot better. Finally had an offensive game that I kind of expected. Threw the ball 31 times. But they still came short on a field goal attempt. But Mond's interesting because he's getting like 10 more attempts than any other quarterback in this league. So I just wanted to mention some of these notes. That's really all I have for like headline news. Did you guys want to draft? Did you want to talk about any specific guy in terms of lineup builder this week? Unfortunately, I think it's still the Sailors conversation because he's so much
at his price. He is the first person everyone like has to look at. So like, yeah, Sailors.
Yeah.
What is the Sailors situation we're at this week? Like, I'm with you. Like, I think this is the week I go no.
The funny thing is, we went no last week, and he went up by what did I say, $500? So, like, I'm not saying that should be an auto no. I'm just saying we're already leaning towards no, and then he goes up. You would have
if he was playing Houston, it would be a yes for me. But he's not playing Houston, so
if you were playing Houston, if you were playing Memphis, if you were playing one of those, like yes, but no, I'm with you. Like this is not the week against Arlington.
See, but even then, I would be like Howard is a good running back. His backup is good. So what happens if there's a blowout and they just turn to him? Like for me to want to play Sailors, I'd have to want to play him in a competitive game where I feel like it's a high-scoring game. It's like the outlier game of the week. And I don't see that this week either. So do we just want to draft?
Yeah, we can go to the draft.
Yeah.
I would say if we get Sailors in a lineup, I'm okay with it, but I'm not trying to prioritize them. So I think for me that means mostly no.
All right. I got a random number generator up. What do we want? I'll go 13.
84.
It's NBA playoff time. Let me go 24.
91.
Vindication. Okay. All right. Let's see. Since we made sort of the Sailors decision, I think we should probably just go with best raw points available then and just play Adams first off.
Yeah.
So let's just get him in there.
Why do they keep his price so low? Does anyone have an? Because at this point I feel like he's an auto almost but I can never make an argument against it. Like his prices went up, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, it should go like he'll probably be like 8-10K here. He just needs one more game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess well, I should say this week it's a fair price. Like 8,600 is a fair price. I just expected it to be 9,000 this week, which would have made my build a lot different.
All right, so second pick was going to Logan, right? Yeah.
Okay, so
who's your guy?
I want Paul from DC. We lost Ty Scott. DraftKings didn't price Paul to be the number one guy. He's at least the number two. I think it's really good value at 5,500, considering he could be the number two, could even be maybe the number one. Saw a ton of targets this week, and that was with Scott playing. So obviously the touchdown is going to inflate his numbers this week, and it was off a tip drill. Maybe he got lucky because it wasn't even intended for him. But I kind of like that awareness around the red zone to be ready for the football. And when it was popped up in the air, he was Johnny on the spot. So I view that as a good thing, not a negative.
I can go along with that. like he was getting the targets. So like even though he got the touchdown, I'm not chasing the touchdown. I'm chasing the volume in a wide receiver core that has target share to open up.
Exactly. Donnie, what do you got for us? You're muted, pal. Hopefully you're muted, because
Oh God.
I don't know why it muted on the thing. I muted my mic on the computer. All right. I'm going to want Mariner from Michigan.
man, he made the catch of the week last week, didn't he? I was hoping someone would bring him up.
I played him every week this year.
I thought he was going to hurt himself on that catch if you guys didn't see it. Like it was a toe tap near the sideline, came right down on the elbow, but it was fantastic. Fantastic ball control.
And then with that, with the first pick of round 2, I'm going to do it for the first time this year. Pick a quarterback. I want Perkins paired with him. Just the volume he gets. 10 rush attempts last week on top of 23 passing, and I don't need to worry about Danny Etling anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care about the price. I'm just playing him.
I do think he'll have some competition because Bowman coming in is a good quarterback eventually, but there's no way he takes snaps away.
Well, he's not even – that guy's not even listed on DraftKings. I don't even know who that is. It is –
yeah, it's an Oklahoma State quarterback. Trust me, he's decent for this league. But
Rocky
he won't
Lombardi is coming in. Like, I that's the quarterback on their depth chart for me.
Yeah, right now. But yeah, it's Perkins is going to go out. But by the way, I saw in some projections they were projecting him for 30 or for 50 rushing yards. Sorry. So even if he doesn't get there with the receiving, which I think he can, if he's going to get anywhere close to 50 yards or rushing, it's just a good play. Yeah, and I think not playing Sailors, we can definitely afford Perkins. I think this might be the first time we've actually paid up for a quarterback, but I don't mind it, like Gov was saying.
Yeah, this might be the week for it. Especially now this game, like I have 2 different feelings on it. And it's really making me iffy, but it also looks really good. Because like one, it is the first game of the series or first game of the slate.
Yeah.
So like I'm usually weary to that. It's also the first rematch of the season. These two teams played week 1.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
They will be seeing each other again.
And Perkins put 20 points up on him the first time in a game where he didn't have much volume, which is interesting. Like, his volume's only gone up.
Yeah, I kind of, like, it's not that I want to chase that, but I do think it's replicable. So, like, I don't mind stacking Perkins and having Mariner and having them bring back Adams and, like, hoping that game is solid.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing for me. Is Perkins could fail, but I feel like his floor is so good, and I don't think we've seen the ceiling yet. He can definitely do more.
He's at least going to get 1 goal line attempt on the ground. At least 1.
Yeah. And even Alex Magoo, who got hurt in the primetime game a couple weeks ago, I mean, that was just bad luck. That could obviously happen with Perkins, but that's just bad luck. You can't bake too much risk into that. Like, I feel like that's why you play DFS for the upside. So,
and I just want to point out to Gov also another running back from Michigan's out with an injury this week, Toe Toho. So that's more just another guy who was getting carries last week that doesn't get any now. So they're running thin on like who they can give the ball to playmaker wise. It's going to be more narrowed down.
Yeah, which might just be the quarterback keeping the ball himself and running it. That's true. Kind of where I would lean.
That's where it's like there are parts about this game that I like and I want to play. Like I agree with you on the Perkins, but normally first game of the slate and rematches, I tend to be weary of because I don't know how they will go. But like, I think this is just too good of a spot.
Yeah. And I'm kind of with you. I don't usually like to burn my PMR this early, but I mean, when you look at Adams and Mariner, and then Perkins and what they've done, I feel like we're getting a value in all three of those guys.
And Double J's in the comments, by the way.
Is he? He took down another tournament, by the way, last week. So he went back to back. So I guess we should probably pull up his comment. He's probably saying something really intelligent.
Agreeing with you.
See? I told you, this man really did go back to back in previous weeks. So in the mini max. So he's been paying attention to the UFL quite a lot. His advice was basically to save up PMR for the last game. Was his main takeaway from our private DMs this week. I can tell you. And that's a game. That's a game.
For the Easter game, the game on Easter. Only one Sunday game, so like.
I hope we're hopping into the profit margins. I do think that was why, though. I do think. By the way, we are only getting one Sunday game. I was going to mention that from a scheduling perspective, but I like this game, the San Antonio DC game. It's my pick, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to play McFarland.
That's the running back you. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree, actually. That's where I have it, too.
John Levitt says out. McFarland has never needed the primary role, but he's always involved. He's an offensive weapon. Now that Levitt is out, maybe they'll use Corbin more, but I feel like this is just a smart, safe play. In a league where you can see guys get like 1 or 2 points in a week, I feel like there's very few chances that McFarland does that. So I'll even pay out for the safety of him at least getting 4 or 5 points.
I have the other running back in that game, so.
Smith?
Corbin?
You have the other running back from the Brahmas, or you have Smith?
DC.
I'm guessing Abram Smith, right?
Yeah.
He's gotten a ton of work, but his averages have been bad.
Grinder. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look at how much work he's got with how many points he's got, I can see why Donnie'd want to play it. It's your pick now, right, Go?
Yes, I'm just trying to get it in place. I'm looking at what we have. Let's get us a little bit of value. Maybe. No, I think I like the idea. Let's go with the Panthers defense. I've said that more than once this time on the stream.
Yeah.
Like, I think they will do well against Memphis again. Gives us a little bit of value. We're still going to need kind of a cheap guy, but I think we can make this work.
I just want to say, Logan, this is almost exactly where I was stuck at. This price range, I don't know who to play in this price range with almost the same lineup.
Okay.
I'm so lost and don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, I don't like this price range.
Probably go to Turner and make it a double stack, but
that's a lot.
Yeah, there's not much. Leave a couple hundred, but that's probably what I do is leave a couple hundred on the table and go to Turner. Unless you guys want to change the defense, I tried to throw in what I think is the best defense on the board.
I think
if I was going to change
like value wise, but
if I'm changing defense, I want to go up to Birmingham against a terrible Houston team.
I think what I might do is play Corbin instead of McFarland, and just hope he gets a goal line carry.
That's why I like Smith, because he's going to get those touches. 23 attempts last week, 16 attempts the week before, 13 week. It's only going up.
See, but this gives us 8,200. Can we do anything? We could get back to Smith. We couldn't get to Canella anyways.
Right, it's weird. It's a weird price range, and I just don't like it.
Sims has a lot
weird
of
range.
Yeah, I don't want any part of Sims. I
Oh,
don't
by the
want-
way, Deion Kane is back. He had a baby last week.
Yeah, I don't want any part of Birmingham's offense against what shouldn't be a tough game.
Although they did win, and they committed to Houston committed to a quarterback now. I do think Sims will help that Houston Renegades offense.
I need to see the offense look and like effective once because I haven't seen that in 2 years of them playing.
But do you like this better if I go with Corbin and we just punt again at running back? I know that's what we've been doing, but it hasn't hurt us really.
I just don't know how I feel about a running back who got 4 carries last week. I mean, he's had 1 week with carries, and that's it.
I mean, or we go back to it and we try to find a cheaper wide receiver.
To be fair, the 1 week where Corbin got carries was the week that Lovett was out.
Well, that's why I thought about it because
Double J in the comments does make a good point. Like,
oh no, Double J,
solid,
don't do it! No, don't do it, please.
That could get you there, and then we'd have some money.
I literally said to Logan, I have this weird inkling feeling in the back of my mind it's going to be a Marable week, and I don't want a reason to play it. I'm trying to not play it. I'm trying so hard.
Okay, Donnie, you have to now. Sell us on why you're okay. Your head says no, but your heart says yes. So sell us on why your heart wants to play him.
Houston should not be able to keep up. The Stallions are so conservative. They're just going to feed Marable if they're up and just keep feeding them. And he's going to end up with probably 20 carries for 53 yards and maybe 2 touchdowns. And it's going to be 20 points and break the slate, and no one's going to have it. That's where I'm at.
I'm okay with this, especially if I can get back to another San Antonio guy I like, which is Jacob Harris at 61.
Damn it. Logan, I'm going to end up playing it. I told you I didn't want to.
Or we just play Rollins and we get off of Paul, but I like Paul this week.
Is Person inactive?
No. I don't think so.
Double J just said he was.
Well, I believe him because he's won the mini-max twice. Okay, that's a fair point. Then I like Marable a lot more. Thank you, sir. Like I say, I'll bend the knee to a guy who's won the mini-max 2 weeks in a row. This man knows his stuff. Man.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, if Marable is the number 1 guy, because that's my only concern with those 2 guys is they were both really good, and I just don't like. I don't like quarterbacks that split. Okay, yeah. If Ricky Persons is out, I'm definitely Marable. I'll actually change up my personal.
So, I have a question. Is it worth playing it as Marable and in order to be able to get there, going to Houston's defense like in a personal or no? Like, would I have to try to do something different? Because that's what I'd have to do, basically. I have too much on the other game. The San Antonio. Actually, do I have a San Antonio? I don't have a San Antonio. Or I have a DC running back, so I can't do that. Really. But if I'd have to do something. So my choices personally would be like the Roughnecks defense, which the Birmingham offense does get sloppy at times. The Brahmas defense or the Showboats defense. But I have a Michigan stack, so it can't be the Showboats defense. That's what I'd be looking at. Hypothetically, of course. Not that this is ever going to go in a contest.
Jacob Harris just screams a good value to me. Unless you guys see anything else we can do with this lineup. And by the way, again, thanks Double J for that shout out. Because like when there is an injury and there's a ton of workload, that is where you have to start paying attention.
Didn't we fall for that Roundtree trap once already?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not falling for it again.
I played it, and I'll play it again.
I think I did play it in week 2 as well.
Hey, scared money don't make money, right, Double J? You got to risk it. And Logan's been known to make a couple of biscuits out of some really crappy flour before, let me tell you. So I'm not afraid to do that. But I do think Maribor is the play because people are going to want to play Sailors over Maribor. So I don't think Maribor's ownership is going to get crazy.
And it doesn't show that person's out. So there are going to be people like me who just miss it.
Yeah, because what are we at? Well, I mean, we're on Thursday night, so some people are just once Friday hits, they're gonna set their lineup and they're gonna forget it. Maybe in the NFL you would check your lineups, but like in a league like this, you don't see that.
But the game could start and it could still say person's playing in this. Like that's how they've been doing it.
Yeah. So, Gov, what would Maribor's ownership be realistically for you? You've always been better at projecting ownership than me. I just don't think you can get to a point where I want to fade it.
I mean, it'll probably be Sailors level. Like you're talking like a 30% or plus or guy. Like he will be a top.
Well,
like Double J said, like the people who know and keep up and are playing like us, they will know.
Yeah.
And he'll be higher owned among us.
But
like if there's no Q tag and none of that on like DraftKings, like yeah, I could definitely see him not being as owned as he should be, which still makes it a great play.
These contests are very niche as they are. So like if you are playing UFL at this point, I feel like you do at least pay somewhat attention. I'm just saying Sailors has been like 69, 70% owned. I don't think Maribor gets to that level.
And I will say last time we had a running back out for Birmingham, that was when Magoo was technically the starter. He might have gotten hurt that game.
He did.
So it was like the offense was just kind of not game planned properly at that point.
Yeah.
So it might be more of a, hey, this is going to be what we do. And it's a plan this time.
I know that the Stallions love to play, love to run the ball. So like if you're going to give me one guy to be the workhorse, I'm going to play that guy. So Maribor, I might even play some around here. I really might. Would you guys want to do anything with this $800?
I'm looking right
personally,
now.
I'd rather just correlate our defense with our running back.
Yeah, you just use a couple hundred to go up to Birmingham defense.
It's literally 100.
That's what I was going to recommend that we do anyways.
So no, but seriously, that was a serious question I was asking with because in order for me to afford it, I'd have to play like Houston's defense against Birmingham, and that should be okay, right? Because it's not going to be a high scoring game most likely.
Yeah, if I need the extra dollars, I always punt defense.
Like if I lose 3 points on defense because Maribor has a good game, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I sometimes pay up for defense, but usually if it comes down to a skill player or defense, I'll always lean in favor of the skill player.
But Logan, I'm so mad about Double J doing this because now I'm going to force myself to play a 2-point scoring Maribor, and I'm going to be sad about it.
I'm glad he said it because we're supposed to know what we're talking about. This is why we bring in good people into our community, Donnie, because otherwise we would look foolish on our UFL coverage.
I guess my gut just knew that person was going to not play before I even knew.
It might be. Like when Maribor was on, Person's got all the carries. Person's looked really good. I just think the Stallions team wants to run the ball.
Well, so, they do. The Stallions don't want to do anything that is aggressive. If it's 4th and 1 from the 1 yard line, they're kicking a field goal. They don't care.
And I think Double J hit on it. Their offensive line is also built to run the ball. You know, that's what they want to do. So, like, anytime you can get the guy to get main carry. Okay, so here's the last question for the night. If you had more than one lineup, does round 2 make any of those lineups?
For me, no.
God, I really probably, yeah.
I think I'd just.
I think if I had like 5 lineups, yes.
Like, yeah, it depends on how many. Like 1 or 2, no. 3 or 4, probably no. 5 or more, Probably.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. After the 5th lineup, I'd be like, yeah, he has to be in 1.
I think I'd just rather punt it with Corbin, given that Lovitz is out, and pay up for the last game.
Because, yeah, Corbin should get like 7 carries at least.
Yeah.
But we've seen a history of that. Whereas with Birmingham, yeah, Roundtree got 5 carries that 1 week when they were down a running back, but they weren't good carries. I know that for a fact. They weren't good.
And that's the thing, is Corbin's a lot different than McFarland. So I feel like if they need that change of pace running back, if they need that like sledgehammer, they're going to turn to him in the goal line. So
I will say there's one guy that we haven't brought up that is a decent name. Which, by the way, that lineup was definitely not entered in a contest, Logan. Just
but yeah, of course not. No,
just that was a hypothetical.
For educational purposes only.
But there was a guy from DC. I gotta pull up his name again because I don't remember. It was the tight end. It's a hyphenated name. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Moore McKinney. He had 5 targets last week after the injuries happened, and he's only 4.4. So that's a pretty good price if you're willing to really look for a punt.
Yeah.
For 5 targets. Sorry. And he got a touchdown.
By the way, we didn't do a review show, Donnie, but I know you were upset when Chase Sternberger fumbled in the back of the end zone. Like, talk about a weekend that could have went totally different.
Changed my whole day. I played both the tight ends from that game, and they both fumbled on potential big plays.
I mean, that would have changed his life. Like,
that changes from like a min cash to couple good bucks. Not crazy winnings, but
Double has been liking in our lineups. He's in the chat. He won last week. If Sternberger gets in, he might not win. Like, that play really did. It wasn't just a highlight play. It changed the slate. I still think Adams has the potential to like put up that 30-point game that Sailor's kind of breakout game would just seals the week.
And not only did that fumble change like the points at that time, it changed that Thomas was now the main tight end for most of the rest of that game.
True.
So it was just one of those things where it really changed the lineups.
It is true. I had a good profit on the Masters, so I was okay with punting off a little bit of money this week on UFL. I'm really enjoying the product. I like watching football. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. With that being said, though, like and subscribe on the way out. It really means a lot to us. We'll be back hopefully with a review show early next week. But have a good Easter. Enjoy the holiday. Spend some family time. Get out in the sun.
Easter, NBA playoffs, the draft.
Celtics on Easter.
WrestleMania.